this isn't going to be about the electric company. So if you're here just to hear me bitch about that. Nope, we are currently in limbo. So, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. This is the Bullet Wounds and Stretch Marks podcast. I don't want to do the audio anymore. Because I have like 70 freaking videos or recordings of audio that just, they're great, but I'm not going to put them on there because. So I've decided to start writing a book on parenting. And that in and of itself is a loaded comment to say, how dare you have the audacity? You know, something that, and what's funny is most of the problems that we see in parenting that are had today are caused because of many books on parenting. Isn't that? It's going to be the book to break the books, is what it is. And that in and of itself comes with some responsibility and also comes with a whole bunch of inner struggles with the fact that I've been consistently told my entire life that I'm a condescending person. It's like, well, I'm sorry that I had a collegiate reading level by 6th grade. You made me this way, society. You told me that I was supposed to learn to read, so I did. I was a good kid. I did what I was told, because if I didn't, I got my ass beat. And that's how that worked. I don't like getting my ass beat. Do you? I don't like it. I think that's the thing. It's, you know, it's the aversion to discomfort, which drives our shittiest of choices. And I know all this stuff. Studied it. I have all this information and all of these pathways to doing things in a better, more functional way of just existing. So I wanted to, it's taken me a long time to figure out how to harness it all and put it into something. I've always known it's going to be writing. I'm just very avoidant to it because my hands are numb most of the time. No, that's the funniest thing is I was born to be a writer and then I decided to throw my body at the world and make my hands not work anymore. This mouth though. Oh, this mouth works. Maybe it should just be a podcast. Nobody reads anymore. I think that's the writer block of the day is let's not write Rach because who's going to fucking read it? Nobody's going to read. Nobody reads anymore. Correction. People read fiction. Yes. When they read self-help, they only read self-help from people who they feel that they can become. You know, the to everyone else. I think the concept of self-awareness also lies within literacy. And if you can't see yourself as, you know, separate from the world around you and also within the world around you, there's a lot of allegories throughout all of literature that are little hints to be like, hey, just so you know, keep yourself grounded. We're still just monkeys with clothes. We're still animals. We still have animal traits and animal behaviors that we need to be, you know, kept in check and attended to. And if you don't do those things, then you get all this. It's the problem with being pragmatic. It's the problem with being a good thinker is, you know, nothing I write is going to make people happy. And everything I write is going to be condescending, which is like the number one feedback that I get that I don't like because I'm like, I'm not trying to condescend you. I've used the time that I had on this planet to read the rules, to understand why things are the way they are without judging it, without having an opinion about it. Just, why are things like this? Like, what's to now? Well, what do you got going on? And I did that. And, you know, and I got a pretty decent hold on why things are shitty or why they're not and whose fault's what and all that fun stuff. It's just, I see a lot of people stuck there, you know, about 10% of our population is starting to get stuck on their own enlightenment. And it's scary. You see intellectuals talking about, and I say intellectuals and I mean it like this because like I consider myself an intellectual, but I don't talk like one. when I'm in those communities, I can talk like them. Of course, I can use SAT words too. I can use them in context with meaning. Yes, like using the word for what it means instead of just throwing big words out there because I think I sound cool. Like the word unprecedented. I'm telling you what, I know I end up saying it every single time I talk, but I see it so much on the news. It's driving me crazy. It's those little dog whistles. I feel like those are the things that make people like move to cabins in the woods. Like, oh my God, if I hear this word one more time, I could handle everything else. It was the word unprecedented that broke me, you see? And I think it stands for my issue with the loss of the complex understanding of the English language. Not just simple, oh, I read. Yeah, you read fairy tales and fancifuls. You read, stories that will never happen, and you like to imagine your other characters. But you don't think of why. You don't think of why do I prefer that about that character, not about myself. You don't want to think that way because then you're being self-critical. And then when you're self-critical, then, you'll realize all the things that are wrong with you. And nobody wants to feel that. You're certainly not going to do anything about it. Why? Everybody still lets you. Like, why fix it? I'm perfectly comfortable being miserable while other people are allowing me to be a shitty person. And where does it start? It starts in your childhood. I can tell how people grew up 9 times out of 10 just by having a 5-minute conversation with them. And that's not a negative thing. It's hey, people made impacts on you. You've lived a life. That's slowing down. I've always been a person who enjoys the communication and the conversation of a human in person and likes to have conversations, but people are pretending they don't know how anymore so that they don't have to. Like, I wish I could say that. Yeah, I don't know how to communicate with other humans. And then just not do it. And be like, see, can't do it. Whoopsie. Are we really that incapable as a species? Like, and then we think like, oh great, so people aren't as capable as they used to be. So, we are a very dumb species, but we are so smart. It's the dichotomy of man. It's frustrating that we struggle with the concept of being so much while creating these huge, fanciful, complicated things that most people can't really understand how they work, like nuclear science and shit. Like, most people don't. Once an engineer starts talking, that's why engineers don't have communication skills, by the way. It's not because they can't build them. It's because it's never been pertinent for them to do so. Once they showed aptitude in mathematics and once they showed a drive for that, their parents just let them go and let them throw their entire existence into this one thing because, it was the thing to do. I never got to do the things to do growing up, which most people whine and complain about. And I don't. I just point it out. It was a reality. Like, I could be upset that I didn't have cable TV, but I see what the brain rot was to my own generation. Like, I was there. I saw what Nickelodeon did to my peers. And it made you mean. Like, kids were mean to me growing up. Me? Yes. With this mouth? 100%. Yeah, no. I definitely did. I definitely earned some of it, but most of it was, you're different. You have a boy haircut. You don't, you don't have all the cool things we have. Everything you own is secondhand. And so we're going to continue to other you because you don't feel enough othered. We're going to make it worse. We're going to make sure you know. I know. I know I'm not even supposed to be here. I know. Trust me. That's the one thing that, like, when you move from poverty to just above poverty, you are informed on a regular basis that you didn't really belong here. So, yeah, we know. I know belong in your little club because I didn't get here through, my whole family being this, thing. And because my picture of my family looks so much different than what yours is, you're terrified to have your children around me, because if you do, then I'll rub off on them and turn them into the horrible person that I am, that you heard I was. Never happened. Not once. Happened to me my whole life, though. Like, from my mother to now. There's always somebody. But, nah. Everybody, but what that has taught me is no matter how good of a person you can be, no matter how not malicious you are, intentionally through your actions. Everybody's like, oh, it's anxiety. No, it's just survival. I don't want to make any waves. I don't want to make any enemies. Anytime I'm around somebody, I want to be helpful to them. Now, does that mean that if you, decide to fuck around, you're not going to find out that I can be just as mean as I am nice, and that is the dichotomy of man? Certainly will. Certainly will. And I think that's what most people used to, enjoy about having me around. But I've noticed the more that humanity is less and less present, the more even my closest friends pull away. The more I kind of lose humans to the digital world. Like I lose my analog friends to the digital world. This idea of pomp and circumstance being far more important than the actions and the care and the effort you put into your personal life. Nobody has a personal life anymore. It's some labeled thing that just represents like 3 hours out of your day that you're supposed to have. Like, that sounds miserable. Like, while I have a ample amount of free time, mine is full of pain. So I'm always reminded that I don't deserve it. Like, yeah, you're going to get all this free time off. You'll get to retire at 40, but yeah, you're not going to be able to move. Like, it's not really technically retirement, but retirement. Don't judge me. Do y'all know that they changed orange soda? They changed orange soda. They said that the formulation of the orange flavor was causing health problems or something. It was killing people. It was causing cancer or whatever. And they changed it. Do you think I'm drinking this because I care about my health? No. Just liquid fizzy sugar. Just liquid fizzy sugar. I'm concerned that it's healthy for me. Give me my orange flavoring back. This tastes like ass. I mean, I'm still going to drink it because it's the only option I have. See, and that's being an adult. But give me my poison back. That's also being an adult. Being an adult means, oh, it can kill me and I'm still going to do it? Cool. Then when I get cancer, I'm not going to be like, how did that happen? I'm going to say, oh, Sunkist caught up with me. Sweet. That orange flavoring caught up with me. Oh, eating all of that hazmat. Drinking jet fuel for freaking 6 months straight. I'm not gonna, can you just give me my orange flavoring back? I'm an American hero. I deserve my orange flavor. The way I'm talking, you'd think somebody would be watching. They're not, it's fine. Yep, I think that's what I'll do now. I think I will video vent my frustration with society so that it will fuel my brain to figure it out and write it down then. Because I hate bitching for no reason. I'm not one of those people. That's why when I did my podcast, anytime I talked to a veteran, I was like, we're not going to be like bitching about things. We're just going to be talking about like our experiences and our existence and the way we kind of see the world. Not so much like, do you hate stuff? I hate stuff too. Like, I think we have enough of that. I think we have so much. And what's horrible is like the intellectual community, as far as I can tell, they're all catastrophizing, which I'm like, you guys are teetering that edge there. It's not an edge you want to teeter. There's a razor. You stay on it. Like, although, what's his name? Harari. Yusuf Harari. He's a very good writer. I recommend all of his books. And he actually has like a graphic novel about humanity from like beginning to end. And it's beautiful. Freudian slip, anybody? No. For beginning to end, beginning to now, Jesus, I keep going there. See, I'm trying to be positive lately. I've been purposefully looking at myself every day and going, yo, like, it's time for affirmations, bitch. You're slacking. Like, you are not enjoying what you're seeing and what's going on. It's like, I can't. It's a problem with being pragmatic. Sorry, you can try to create any silver lining you want. I'm looking at 10. Like, it's not. No. I'm not even looking at metal anymore. This is just like ore. This is just dirt. Hope that there's metal in it. Like, there's no silver lining to any of this. Because it's us. Like, and oof. We've created a mass of humanity that has lost its humanity. So, whoa. It's funny, though. It means that more often I'm told that people recognize me. And I'm like, yeah, I hate to tell you, but it's just you're recognizing that there's a whole human in your presence. That's how humans communicate. Like, we're forgetting a big set of communication that we've studied and we should know and we should have incorporated into the way that we, raise people and help people understand the process of being human. But we don't actually do that because in the 1950s, we took a turn. We were like, no, we're going to write a book by Spock and it's going to tell everybody how to parent their children. And maybe that's what I should label it or should title it. Fuck Spock. Fuck Spock. Fix your kids. Before you lose humanity. Stop it. Stop with this bullshit. Stop playing pretend and playing house and actually, do what you're intending to do. You can't look at children and tell them they're a fucking gift from God and treat them like they're a burden. It doesn't work. You got to find a middle ground there. Human. Ugh. It's hard because I've been taught to peddle this for the past 15 years. I went to college, got my master's, took a look around and went, oh, shit. We're not helping anybody at this point. If anything, we are causing more harm than good to humanity as a whole. That took me 5 years, by the way. It took me 5 years to come to that conclusion. It wasn't like, oh, la, 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 la. I'm just going to make a choice. No. Whole ass decision, weighing it out while I was still going to school, That's how you make adult choices. You don't just all of a sudden decide to rage quit. There are moments for that. Trust me. And I'm not perfect. I've definitely rage quit on a few occasions, but I try to make them, private and fixable. Controlled chaos. How we work best. This uncontrolled chaos bullshit that we've allowed to happen. Not great. Not great. We'll learn someday. Hopefully it'll be this iteration. Not looking great. But, yeah. This is what my days look like. I mean, obviously I do other things. There's 2 snoring pug dogs right now, but today is Mom Day. It's the first Mom Day I've actually been able to have since school started, so thanks, Arjani. But, yep. Writing a book for a society that doesn't read anymore, that is highly reactive to any semblance of reality, does not react well to objective concepts, thoughts, ideas, only reacts to buzzwords and unprecedented news. It's very difficult. You think of your market, I don't even want to make money. I just want to help people. I just don't think that, you can't really help people that don't want to be helped. You can't. If anything, if you try to help somebody that doesn't want to be helped, 2 things will happen. Either one, they're going to be happy that you helped them. But the other is contempt, anger, and violence. And that especially happens when you deal with people's kids. Because they do so much cognitive dissonance to believe that their children are safe and healthy all day long, every day, without any sort of proof, while watching their children be preyed upon. Hey, you know what I'm talking about? Because if you're aware of it, you're like, yeah, it's fucking hard. It is hard to cognitively dissonate and be like, no, my kids are okay. They're not okay. Goddamn well they're not okay. Little psychopaths. Shallow as hell in their understandings of the world for no damn reason. Like, what? We've talked about this. It's almost like something's happening throughout their day that is just changing the way that you're trying to get them to understand the world. And I'm just trying to get my child to understand the world like a basic-ass human being that's, capable of their own autonomy and self-sufficiency and self-reliance. So I don't know what message of metrics other parents got, but I'm going to put them in a book. And be like, here's our metrics, guys. Let's create some very simple metrics. Now, is this new? No. It is metadata that's spread out throughout history and usually written in very important religious texts or institutional texts. But the problem with that is that then you place a social identity upon it. And so you don't really have the opportunity as an individual to develop your own approach based on those principles, basing your own principles of parenting, which are based on your principles of living as a human being. And if you're a human being on this planet that doesn't have principles that you live by, you're not a full human being yet. You can get there. Everybody can. You'd be surprised at how many grown-ass people are not fully functioning adults. I'm not, because I've grown up with them. And I've watched older ones not be able to grow up and die off, still at a developmental level of a 14-year-old. That's the majority of people. When you face reality, that is 80% of people are at about an 8th grade developmental level. 8th grade to 18. That age, they stop. Your expectations of life don't change. You don't have more depth in how you look at your daily life, so things begin to drag on you, and you begin to have contempt for the life that you've chosen, and yada, yada, yada. It's all that fun. Who's watching me? I'm just ranting. You don't have to watch me. You don't have to be polite. I did talk about soda earlier, if you want to rewind. Right now, we're just dealing with writer's block and a public that is just really, you can tell they don't comprehend by the way that the mass warfare of propaganda is upon them, if that makes any sense. Like, you can tell where people are with how the government communicates with them. It's not great. I remember I really irritated somebody one day when they were like, Donald Trump this and that when he was our president. And I was like, I don't know about you, but he's a pretty good representation of most Americans I've met. Him and Kamala are like the representation of most people. So like if you're looking at a representative that represents most of your population, well, guess what we got, guys? You have representation. They don't represent what you want them to, but they definitely represent what the popular opinion seems to be and the popular behavioral patterns seem to be. So we'll have fun with that. I don't know. I want to make it easier for people to learn how to communicate again. It's always been my goal. That's why I wanted to teach English at first. Then I realized I really could not handle people's children. And then I was like, I'll be a therapist. That's what I'll do. I'll be a family therapist, and I'll help families to fix the dysfunctional patterns of communication that have gotten them, because it's so simple. When you're outside looking in, it is very simple to see exactly where those little links are, where you can rebuild those attachments and you can help them communicate. But both people have to want to. Both people have to be on there because they're people and humans have choice. And I think that's one of the biggest catastrophizing things that I've seen in the popular intellectual community. All those people who talk for 3 hours on podcasts about the history of things and where we are and all that stuff. That's the stuff I enjoy doing. Sorry. I like to be very aware of reality as much as possible because I've seen it. I've seen people getting duped my entire life. So I don't know why people think that people are so nice. You always hope they are. You hope that people are who they say they're going to be. It's when people aren't who they say they're going to be that people start getting frustrated and the contempt is there. But, and the people ask, how did we get here? It's like, well, in the 70s, they did shoot people on college campuses on live television. We went to the moon, so the government showed us as people what they were capable of, so, and they saved us from our own destruction after World War II. So, there was a lot of trust that they had that they definitely took advantage of. But then corporations came in, took advantage of the trust that the corporations had, plus the trust the government had. So now they've broken all of it. And that's why everybody is so freaked out and everybody feels like they're disconnected. There you go. You're welcome. Or not. Go talk to people. You can't not talk to people anymore. Just do it. Who's stopping you? Aren't you grown up? I don't understand how so many people can be like, I'm so oppressed by this. And it's like, but you're not. Right now, I'm simply oppressed by the United States Navy, because that's just how life be. The VA, because that's just how life be. And the electric company. That's about it. I'm lucky. Maybe I'm lucky. Whatever. Am I lucky? Or am I 40, turning 40? And looking back on 40 years of me having to have had make all of my own choices as early as possible, and having to navigate all of this by myself, and knowing exactly what was missing the entire time. Like when I was in foster care, I had a couple of foster parents who were like, "Oh, Rachel, yeah, she thinks that she's the best mother ever on the planet. She'll tell you. She'll tell you where your problems are and how to fix them." And it's like, you're fucking welcome. By the way, one of the moms that said that was she had her license removed because she was a bad foster parent. She made a little girl pee herself in a Walmart changing room. We went there for Easter. 20-minute drive of me being shamed and berated because I wanted to go buy contact lenses for myself with my own money, which I earned from my job at KFC. After I'd been wearing glasses since I was in 2nd grade. And it was the first time I was ever able to wear contacts. And the entire 20 minutes, it was, "Oh, Rachel Thobain. Da, 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 da." Like, okay. Rude. We walked around Walmart. She's sitting there. "I need to go to the bathroom. I offered. I said, "I'll take her up to the bathroom right now." No. We got to get these dresses. We got to try dresses on. And I'm sitting there thinking, why? It was so weird because she's not letting us go to the bathroom. Okay. And what happens when you start taking your clothes off? You got to pee. Your body's like, "Oh shit, we can go now, right?" We're not going to pee ourselves. We're going to pee wherever we are, but clothes are off. Signal go. Little girl peed herself. Especially when you're a little girl. In foster care. Do you think that girl's got a lot of control what's going on in her head right now? No, it's chaos. Made that little girl pee herself. That's why I wanted to be a foster parent. Because I know those people exist and I don't want to be one of those people. And I figure if I can take the position of one of those people away from them, that'd be fantastic. That's all you can do, though. That's a pragmatic view of how to fix things that you see as, atrocities. And why am I not doing it now? Oh, I don't know. My husband's in Japan. I got a kid and I'm a disabled veteran. Give me time. Ugh. Rushing me. It takes time to be a person who does what you say you're going to do. It does not take time to be someone who always has a problem with what's going on in the world. And that's a lot of people right now. And I don't know. I see the more people have problems with things that are going on in the world, the less attention they're paying to their child, the less attention they're paying to their family. And the more that kind of feeds into it, Seeing my own generation realize that their parents really never invested human intimacy with them at the level that they were intended to. They didn't, foster the attachments, the parental attachments, the familial attachments that they, so wanted to fill, that they experience. It's generational, it's multi-generational. And it's so endemic I mean, we created it that way. We became a consumer society and kind of got ourselves into these 15-minute cities. So, the way to survive in those cities is to, find yourself a group and be that group, be that person, be that social identity. And in that you have, security because, they can see you, they can label you, boom, and that is true for more, closer society. When you get more people, that's the easiest way to do that. But all that did was separate everyone. And then we don't actually develop any personal identities. But that's, I'm just kind of running through the whole purpose of the book. Keep on task, keep on the thing. But I just don't think people will read. I have all this stuff in my head and I can do nothing with it. I mean, aside from, live my own life, which I feel rude. I feel like, I feel like a dick. Where you're like, well, sucks to be you. I made all the right choices, But like, in making the right choices, I was looked at like a crazy person for most of the things that I've done in my life. When I was in the Navy, I had very, very clear principles of my own performance and my own dedication to what I said I was and what I was going to be. And in doing so, I broke my body, and I came up with a joke. I was like, yeah, women can do anything men can do for a while. Right, ladies? For a while, until your body breaks down. And our bodies are more cartilagey. Our bodies lose a lot more, when it comes to those kinds of injuries and such. Trust me, I feel it. But I did it anyway, and I don't regret it. But I knew when I was in the military, like, I could have a marriage, but probably not a kid. More than likely not a kid. And if I did, I'd have to have a child, and it would have to be on shore duty. So I'd have to make sure I would have it right in the beginning of shore duty, because I would have a career that I would have to maintain, because I would still be under contract to maintain it. But I also would never have a child unless I had a functional marriage. And I was so lucky to grow up as a millennial in a time where that was an option for me. I don't know where it's going to go now. I don't really care. And maybe that's where I feel like shit. Because I'm like, it's not that I don't care about abortion as an issue. It's like, yeah, I think it should be allowed. I don't know why the government needs to get into that. It seems like the dumbest talking point anymore. Because for women, we fought all this to get our own autonomy, and we had it. I'm a woman. I can say, I feel like I've been able to make my own choices my entire life. I do feel like it's starting to feel like they're getting restricted. And maybe if I were in my 20s right now, I'd be a lot more concerned. But even if I were in my 20s, which I was one time, I was on birth control because I was a responsible adult and did not want to make or create any more human beings that I would have to raise. That's the most simple way of understanding procreation, is it not? But we overemphasize all of this belief structure and ideas where it's like, as soon as those kids are born, nobody gives a shit about them. I can attest to that. So what you're arguing right now is whether or not you should have a say-so in somebody else's life, and that's always been a no in this country. Sorry. If you want an answer to why all of the things are going wrong right now, the United States has never won a war that it started. We're a country that actually is established on principles, and those principles are ethical principles. And when you have ethical principles, yes, they're ideals. Yes, it takes time. Yes, those founding things were not perfect, but it was a working document on purpose. They knew that nothing was perfect, and they knew that times would change. And so that's why they created it the way that they did. And that's, America's different than any other nation, except now. Now we're going right back to the same way that we used to be before, where foreign, nations have some say over our country. And that's weird. Pretty sure that's not what we were established for. But again, when you start shit with other people, you don't deserve to win every time. And when all you do is start shit with other people, you don't deserve to win at all. Sorry. And everybody's like, well, they started shit by this. And it's like, I thought that was what the UN was for. But we're not getting out of their way to get them to do the things. We're stepping in and allowing them to have us step in. Okay. How gracious of us to not promote actual diplomacy. It's just strange. So yeah, I get it. We all have to sit back and pretend that we're not doing what we're doing globally. But what about personally? See, again, first of all, people don't read more philosophical concepts for progression of thought. They read it for validation of knowledge. And that's all it's been. It's, hey, I'm looking at this way. Am I right? And it's all the tag words, it's all the same thing. It's never anything, okay, and so knowing all of this, what do we do with this information? How do we turn this into intelligence? How do we take everything that we've got going on right now and go, okay, what moves do we make that are going to shift this to being a more orderly situation so that we can correct it back to being balanced without having to be aggressive or manipulative or deceitful, But yeah, there's been no place for that. I've watched the Independent Party every single time we ever have an election is like, oh yeah, we'll let you guys run. And then like by the first 6 months, they get no media time or anything. It's just there to kind of give you the illusion that you had a tertiary option. But yeah. All right, well, I think I'm going to get going. I think I've got some writing. I think I've talked it through enough in my mumbo jumbo nothingness. But yeah, I'm going to go back to my ignoring of my discomfort that my son is in a learning institution where they're not really learning. I'm kidding. I'm sure he's learning something. What? We'll never know, but maybe the public education system in the state of New York is teaching him wonderful things about reading and writing and arithmetic like we used to learn. No, maybe. I don't know. He's gonna pretend that it's not happening until we can get away. Bye! Have a good one.